Have you ever thought of entering a plein air art competition?
I'm Anna Brewster. I'm a landscape artist and art teacher from East Devon.
I'm Alex Boone, nature journaling artist and tutor at the Nature Journaling Circle. Today we're out in nature, painting and drawing.
And it's not nearly as scary as you'd think.
We've just arrived on the beach, and I think this is probably the best location we could find from the ones that we were allowed. Because this is a competition, they've got a specific area that we needed to be in. And the idea that we'd had about where we were going to be is not in the area that the competition was taking place. So we found this spot. It's got everything that we want in it. It's got some nature, it's got the sea, and it doesn't have too many human features or people that would get in the way of our typical composition. So we're going to stay here. We're going to do a little bit of sketching and see how we get on.
It's quite a difficult day today. The light is absolutely flat, so there's not a huge amount of contrast between sea, sky, all the wildlife, whatever we're going to find here. I'm going to be focusing in on the landscape on the far side and hoping to get some of this stuff, some of the grasses and the other bits and pieces we've got around here in the foreground to just kind of break it up a bit, make it a little bit more interesting. A little bit of sketching is just happening before I tackle anything with paint, because it's really easy to rush in, get overexcited and put a load of stuff down. But actually, a little bit of time spent planning, thinking about composition is going to pay dividends later down the line, I hope.
I'm mainly starting by identifying a bunch of species. It's part of my kind of warm-up today, because I don't feel like I could go straight into sketching here before I have a better understanding of the environment that I'm in. I think it comes from being a nature journaler. I just want to settle into here by identifying first before I start my work. Starting your first one.
Yeah, so I've got a preliminary sketch. I did a couple of sketches actually, because as I say, it always pays to sketch. Had a little go with the boat, decided that this format wasn't going to work for me, and really I love doing landscapes in a portrait format. So I've thought about colours, so it's going to be greys and browns. It's going to be a very muted painting, but this is kind of where I'm going, and now I'm translating that up to a larger size, which is the quarter imperial size that I like to paint.
I'm having a go today at working with this mixed media artboard. It's got a lovely smooth surface, so I'm going to have a go at this. Give it something that's a little bit more sturdy than a bit of paper for handing in for the exhibition. I quite like to start my work by putting these words down on the page. And because we're in a misty day today, I thought I'd play around with this, and I'm going to start with the very light grey in the distance and come to a closer grey here, and then be black by the time we're in the foreground. I think that's going to look quite effective.
It's getting greyer and greyer as I'm looking, so all these lovely colours that I've got on here are not going to get a chance to shine, I don't think. But the lovely thing about painting is you can always tweak the colours and emphasise what you want and make things brighter than they actually are to make them more interesting. So I got distracted for 5 seconds and the sea smooshed into the sky. But it's fine. This is normal for this stage in the proceedings. My paintings always look very chaotic before they resolve themselves. So yeah, this is totally fine. That's like sea holly colour. So I'm trying to get a little bit of that in the foreground because it's nice contrast with the pink.
You're much quicker than me.
Yeah, but I might need to take 4 goes at this.
I'm happy with the text now. I may add a little bit more in later on as things appear, but I'm going to now get stuck in with my markers. Just been putting on some green with my Arteza pen, and I really love how my pens are actually echoing the colours that I have in front of me today. This kind of muted greys and greens, warm greys, cool greys, and soft greens. It's kind of perfect. I'm not going to have to add too much with my paint to this.
Watercolour in the rain. It's challenging. How can you go wrong? So I've got a couple of layers on this now, and also a degree of sand dune, because I thought, I was going to chuck salt on it anyway. So it's got sand on it now. I'm just waiting for layers to dry so that I can start thinking about the next medium that I'm going to use on it.
It's quite interesting when you sit and start drawing somewhere, because I thought, oh, this is going to be a bit boring. But having settled into this landscape, watch the birds come and go and the interesting plants, of course, as you lean in more and you stay in one spot, you notice more and more. So I've been populating my drawing with all of the plants that I'm seeing, the snails and the insects, and it's been really fun. So never discount a location on first glance, because it's amazing what comes up when you really immerse yourself.
And I have two paintings. This is the first one. This is the second one. They are not drying because watercolour. I've got ultramarine all the way up my elbow. So yeah, I think once they dry, I'll start trying to get some pencil and some other bits and bobs on. So it's an interesting thing to think about when you are entering any competition. You know there's going to be judges who are probably going to be other artists, and there is a terrible temptation to go and look them up and maybe change how you are painting based on who's going to be judging. But I think both of us have made a conscious decision not to look up the judge for this competition, because actually you should only ever really paint as yourself, and anything you try and do that isn't that won't be true, and it's less likely to be successful, I'd guess.
You may find when you're out doing, whether it's a competition or not, when you're doing plein air, you'll get to a stage in the about the middle of the day or the middle of your painting where you absolutely hate it. And I've just entered this stage with it. And I think for me, it's because I've lost a lot of the contrast that I had when there was some white space. But I'm going to build that contrast back up by putting my coloured pencil layers on top. So I've got to kind of not get upset about the fact that it's not looking so good right now, and certainly don't give up at this stage.
Right, so we've got to a point now, we're a couple of hours in. We're both firmly in the I hate my painting stage, which is fabulous, totally normal, as Alex said. We are going to pause for a little bit because it's very, very damp here today, and we need to let these dry. So we're going to step away. And the brilliant thing about stepping away from your painting is that you see it with fresh eyes. So that is the best part of that. And we get to go and eat lunch as well.
We're back after lunch and it's stopped raining, thankfully. That means I can now really get on with putting my Derwent Inktense pencils on. So I really want them to be dry when I'm actually applying them. It's really not a good idea with these to put them onto a wet surface unless you kind of want to draw with the wet. So I'm going to get the Inktense pencils on dry and then liven them up with some water. That's kind of the next stage here. This is really quite an important stage in my work today, because I'm really now building in the areas of dark. So it's the part where we're going to get the most contrast, and I really need to be careful about where I'm putting these dark areas.
Just putting in a little bit of yellow in the foreground because there's some little yellow plants over there, and I want to just bring this right forwards. So some bold colours will do that. And yes, that's kind of where I am now, just pencil layers now. Getting some texture in there.
This really is one of the realities of outdoor painting. I am painting in a carrier bag. At least I'm putting in these coloured pencil areas, which I don't really want to put onto damp paper, so carrier bag is out. I'm now at a stage I really love, just putting on these big areas of coloured pencil over certain parts of it, and you see the underlying media sitting underneath the marker pen and the Inktense. They come through and blend with the coloured pencil, and it gets a really interesting effect. I love putting this part on.
So I'm now working on the pastel layer, which is the final layer. I've done some coloured pencil, tidied a few bits and pieces up, and now I'm just adding in highlights, pulling things out the foreground. I've added some deep darks in as well. So fingers crossed, I'll start liking it again soon. You never know.
Having a bit of a fight with it at the moment, in that kind of stage of building it up, and I can't settle and working in one space at a time. I tend to pick up one pencil and want to continue with that colour for quite a while and keep moving around, trying to increase my efficiency moving around the page. But I feel like I'm fighting with it a little bit at the moment, just trying to get this foreground nice and intricate and interesting.
Well, clearly having a cup of tea. It's raining quite a lot. It's mid-afternoon and we are at a point where things are wet. So what we're going to do is we're going to nip back to the car, dry these out, and then we'll be able to put final layers on with a bit of luck.
It started raining a little bit too much, so just getting finished off from the car. I've just got to get the last of the coloured pencil and fine liner and a little bit of marker pen onto this front. I really want the foreground to stand out more than the background, so the main thing I'm trying to do here is really build up the contrast in this foreground area. This is the final version after what I did in the car. I think I've done better. I've put a little bit more dark into the foreground so that hopefully it kind of recedes into the background here, so it's a little bit more realistic than what it was before. I can't say I'm 100% happy with it, but I'm happy enough to submit it now. Oh gosh. Could you take my camera?
He's sat there and he's named every brush across there, so he obviously knows his thing. And even the little snail who popped his head while she was painting.
So that was a really interesting surprise. I was certainly not expecting to actually win anything in this competition, particularly since I wasn't particularly happy with the bit of work that I did. I will say, just in case anyone's wondering, nobody knew that I was a YouTuber and it was all judged completely blind. So it's not like it was fixed or anything like that. It was just a kind of really nice, happy, random thing that happened. I mean, the judges said that they really enjoyed the fact that I was down in the grasses and actually naming everything that I saw. So perhaps there is a place for nature journaling in the fine arts after all. I hope you enjoyed following along with us entering the plein air art competition. If you'd like more from me, you can find me at www.naturejournalingcircle.com, which is where I teach. So if you like any of these techniques, you can come and learn more about them there. You can find Anna at annabrewster.com or Anna Brewster Art here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Let's not be idiots.
Here is the idiot's guy.